So reports have kind of been this. It's been report city for Brooklyn. The newest report that came out is James Harden has is going to be testing free agent. He's never been a free agent in his career. It's testing free agency because he will be a free agent at the end of the season. Now, of course, just because you're a free agent doesn't mean you can't go back to your team, but, he's testing free agency. And a lot of people are linking him to going to Philly. Daryl Morey, he had most of his success, of course, with the Rockets, both Daryl Morey and James Harden together. So, who I feel bad for? And I've talked about this before, but it's more and more apparent. Who I feel bad for? I feel bad for Kevin Durant. Now, of course, hindsight's 2020. So you really never know what your decision is going to, the outcome of that decision. Now, of course, some of it, you pretty much know. Like, if you overeat, you're going to get fat and be full. You pretty much know that. Or if you shoot somebody, more than likely you're going to jail. We know those decisions. Like, we know the outcome of those decisions. But I look at Kevin Durant, man. No, Kevin Durant left an organization in Golden State. And I understand that it wasn't the easiest as far as personally there. I mean, you're used to being the man. And you're used to being viewed as the man. I mean, even before the NBA, before college, I mean, he was the man in PG County. Everyone knew who Kevin Durant was. Then you go to Texas, Player of the Year. Everyone knows who Kevin Durant is. Even though he did get drafted second because they had Greg Oden, but you go to the league. That's Kevin Durant, bro. Kevin Durant, in my opinion, is a top 15 player ever. I'm still one of the people that think there's no way that you can now, I know I'm watching one and just watch highlights of another, but there's no way that you can tell me that Larry Bird is better than Kevin Durant. I'm one of those people. We can have an argument that you can leave in the comments. I'm one of those people. But Kevin Durant, so I understand you going to an organization, clearly the best player on that organization, and people know how much I'm a fan of Curry, but Kevin Durant was the best player on that team. Steph Curry knew that. But you go to a team that just beat you, won 78-9 or 71-9 or 70. Whoa, lose 9 games. You lose to them in the playoffs, and then you go to them. So I know, the scrutiny, the whole snake thing. I know that. I also know, the NBA fan base, the Golden State fan base, the NBA fan base is pretty much upset at you, and your legacy there is kind of tarnished. And the Golden State fans, they're never gonna fully accept you because it's more of a Steph Curry team, because Steph Curry is the face of Golden State, even though you are the best player and won 2 back-to-back finals MVPs. So I get that. But you leave an organization for another organization, and that is in Brooklyn, because it grabs you. You want a new start. I understand. Cool. But it grabs you that there's an opportunity that you can play with one of your best friends in the league, and that's in Kyrie Irving. Look at the status of Brooklyn right now. Right now, Brooklyn is one of the worst. Well, first, Kevin Durant's hurt. But Brooklyn is one of the worst defensive teams in the league. The player that Kevin Durant left, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and that organization, the player that he left for, and Kyrie Irving, is a part-time player because of the vaccine mandate. Now, of course, you never know that there's COVID coming. You never know that New York is going to have a mandate. But that's where we are. And a player that you entrusted And Kyrie Irving now is a part-time player and happy to be a part-time player because the organization pretty much begged him to come back because of, Kevin Durant was hurt, and the team was pretty much free falling. So Kyrie's a part-time player. Then another one of your best friends and former teammates in James Harden forces his way out of Houston to get to Brooklyn. And now reports are he doesn't like living in Brooklyn. He is upset with Kyrie Irving being a part-time player and willing and going to test free agency, meaning that more than likely he will not be here next year. Oh, and you have a coach in Steve Nash, but nobody really knows, and nobody is really sure if he's a good coach or not, because what has he really had to show for it? This is a Brooklyn team that many people, that was Kevin Durant big toe away from making it to the NBA Finals last year. And I believe that more than likely they would have won the NBA Finals, because I think Kyrie probably would have been good enough, maybe game 2 or 3 James Harden was still playing. Well, he was, trying to get back as he was hurt as well. So he was trying to get back to James Harden, and Kevin Durant was playing at a godly level. So you were Kevin Durant big toe away from making it to the NBA Finals last year. And now there's even questions if you're going to make it out of the first or second round, because it's hard for me to look at this iteration of Brooklyn and think that they're better than Milwaukee, think that they're better than the Bulls at this point, think that they're better than, I can see them going toe to toe with a Philly. I just feel bad for Kevin Durant, man. Now, again, these are all decisions that he's made, but it just sucks how dominoes fall into place. And for James Harden, James Harden, man, this is the player that came into this season, almost comes into every season out of shape. Now I understand that players I would be upset too. Now, Kyrie made a decision, a selfish decision, but nothing wrong with being selfish. A lot of people have a negative connotation for being selfish, but it's really not. You're making a decision that's best for yourself to not get the mandate. I'm not saying he's making the right decision. I'm not saying he's making the wrong decision. He's making the decision that's best for him. So I have no problem with that. But so I would understand if I'm a teammate of his, like a Kevin Durant, like a James Harden, where I have to now play more minutes. More is expected of me because somebody that you expected to be there and one of the best offensive players in the league is just not there half the time. So I get that. But James Harden comes in almost every season out of not in shape. Has been playing pedestrian at best this entire year. He's had great games and he's had flashes, but he hasn't really played that well this year to now be like, I don't really like living here. That's wild to me. I don't really like living here. Yeah, I'm gonna test. I don't really. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. It ain't really rocking with me. That's funny to me. That's funny. But hey, wherever James Harden goes, we'll talk about it when it happens. If he leaves Brooklyn, and if he doesn't leave Brooklyn, we'll talk about it.